Well, we're trying another camera here. On the last video I cleaned up all this channel and squirted some acid etch primer on it. I'm going to use a torch and try to clean this trunk here. I had sort of sanded it down at one point. The guy put a bunch of paint thinner on it and didn't do too good a job, just made a mess more than anything. So we're gonna try to shoot a little bit of this with this camera and see what happens. Well, we'll just fire this thing up and what's happening here. Try to stay away from my good paint. I'm just putting this heat on here until it bubbles. Scraper. Taking it right down to the green. Found this, put some heat on it to get it to bubble a little, and turn the torch on. Yeah, that's coming off nice. This is the right temperature, and it just pulls the paint off real nice. Just going right down to the original green paint. Whether the heat was warping this trunk before or whether it was already warped. Try to move it this way, get some of the thick stuff off. hoping that once it cools off it'll be good. Meanwhile, I'm trying not to put so much heat into it now. Anyway, there's a pile of some of the paint. This is a lot less mess than trying to do it with sandpaper. Well, we had a good 1/4 inch bondo in here. Pretty good dent. I think this is probably what caused this stuff here to pop. Now it's cooled off, it's popped back out. I don't know why they didn't beat it out. I haven't looked at the inside. Maybe they just couldn't get to it. But it's taken a while. You can see I got quite a bit of bondo and stuff off of here. There's a big dent there. Quite a bit of bondo right in here, and it looked like it rusted right down into the metal. I got almost half of it done, I guess. So I just keep moving along here, see how it goes. Well, I don't know how well you can see here, but need to get a tripod, I suppose. What I'm doing is going from the bottom to the top. Of course, heat rises, so hopefully some of this heat will creep on up. You can tell when it bubbles how much you've got going on.
How's things going?
Oh, pretty good. Just taking off bondo.
So you're going to keep this one, right?
Yeah. Well, here it is. Finally scraped. Putting heat in it. It pop it in, pop it out. So what I did was take a wet rag, and where it was low I'd heat it, and where it was high I'd heat it up and then cool it and shrink it. So anyway, I don't have any more buckles in it. I'm gonna take a DA to it. And knock this all down with 40 grit. Try to put some primer on it, so it'd be like the rest of that. So I can see what kind of dents I do have. Here it is, all DA'd down. I worked on these corners a little. I got to put a little rust primer in here. Looks like I can see a little bit of the weld I had left in there. Put a little rust converter in that. And then I'll use acid etch primer on the rest of this so it'll stick to this bare metal. Looks pretty good. I can't see any dents here, but I can feel this one. and they're underneath here. There's some kind of hole right there. I don't know whether they tried to knock it out through this hole, but it looks like it might have a little rust here in a couple places. So I don't know whether I'm gonna just cut that out and I think it might have some bondo in it too. Anyway, the inside of this I'll decide once I see what I got here. Maybe it's good enough. I don't think so. I think I can get it a lot better. And I have to adjust this tail light down. You can see it's kind of going uphill here and touching that. That one is too, but not nowhere near as bad. And even though the fender's touching the edge right there, you can see there's a big gap in it. So I have to get that fender to match the roof line, and then whatever happens down here on the bottom, I don't know. This one, the same thing, it's way high. But anyway, I'll get some paint on this thing and have a little better idea of what I'm looking at. Alright, I hit it with some primer. And boy, that place there just jumps out. A lot of problems with that. The rest of it looks pretty straight. I didn't pour much on here. I was just basically looking to cover it and see what I need to do. You got some dents starting right here. Of course, going all the way down to the corner. You can still see a lot of the paint scrapes and things that I put in. I tried to scrape it as evenly as I could, but it's pretty obvious I didn't do that good a job. Anyway, this is just to see where I'm at. I'll sand this again. This is a real thin coat, but I did a much better job of scraping it this time. I took long, even strokes instead of little short ones. And anyway, I got quite a bit of work right there. And I still don't know what's going to happen with this. I do know I have to move that tail light. I could get a pry bar probably behind that thing. Maybe get some of it out. Yeah, it looks like they did actually a pretty good job. There's a pretty good dent right there. And that's all metal. And there's basically just no way of getting to it. You know, without cutting a... And they didn't do too bad. I don't know how big that hole is. But you can considering how bad that dent must have been. They did a pretty good job on it. These little dents in here, I can almost get to them. I can feel it. But the inside panel's running right about here somewhere. Could fix that by cutting it out and forming a new panel. I don't know if I want to do that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. Anyway, I'll figure out something. I'd like to get it a little straighter. Try to get the tension out of this top place in here. I could probably drill holes in it here and use a punch or something. Let me chew this thing out and see how big a hole we got. Looks like they just patched it with some tin foil and bondo. I'll have to fix that better anyway, so we'll take a look at it. Well, they had their typical 1/4 inch of bondo on here. I don't know how they did this. Looked like they pried it or something to get this straight. I think I would be better off. Oh yeah, I can see this edge here's kind of got a hoopity-doo in it right there. Sunk here, raised there. I think I would be better off. I'm going to take a torch and get this bondo off of here. But I think I can just cut a piece out like this. Make it big enough to get a dolly up in there. And it's only one bend, so I shouldn't have any trouble welding a patch panel in there. Let me get some of this bondo off and see what I got. Well, as far as the surface goes, not really too bad. But you know, just trying to get a flat surface is not the point of this. I could deal with a little bondo there. They actually did a pretty good job. You can see here, this is kind of a straight edge. Yeah, no, it's 1/8 of an inch there. Yeah, this is showing it better. Yeah, there's quite a bit that this can be knocked out. So it's kind of a pain in the ass to cut a piece in there. But this is probably about 8 or 10 inches. And going up to the hump here, it's going all the way to the crease. You can kind of see here by my marks. And that's got a little hump in it. Looks like I got a little dent right in there. This one looks okay. And I can, oh yeah, it's got this inner panel all the way across. I could probably stick some metal bar or something in that hole and get that up. But there's no way to get to this one other than cut that piece out. I'll have to decide whether it's worth it to do that. Yeah, I guess it is. I could cut it. I'd probably cut a hole at least this big in it. Where am I at here? Yeah, if I could take right about here on the inside panel, pretty much get something all the way up in there to knock that out. Yeah, again, if I was a body shop, that'd be as close as I'd want to get it. But since I'm trying to restore this car for me, you know, an extra day of work of trying to fix this is probably well worth the effort, because I can get this good and straight and fix this whole dent. I got a new welder coming anyway, and I got some good gas, so welding this back shouldn't be that big a deal. I'll just go ahead and cut it out, and that way I won't have to question myself, and then I can see. Well, I cut this piece out. Not the straightest job in the world, but I can use this to make the new piece with. And I got a pretty good size hole here. Got a lot of rust up in there. I need to figure out some way of spraying it full of rust converter or something. I'll do the best I can. Can't really see with this light, but anyway, I got a pretty good sized hole. Let's see if I can use some of my body dollies and take some of this out. Well, after quite a bit of pounding, I've got this whole dent pretty much gone. Starts right there, looks like a 1/16 of an inch or so. And I got a little high right here, and it's pretty straight. So I think I can work this high down a little. And you know, that little bit of curve right there, we'll take this high down and see if that helps it any. Well, I've got this a high spot now instead of a big low spot, and the more I work it, it seems to stretch it, it's making it even more high. So what I'm going to try to do is heat it and put a rag on it. Hopefully that'll pop it back down in there. Well, that pulled it down pretty good. I'm going to do another little heat it and put cold rag on it, cycle there, and see if it'll pull it down some more. Alright, that pulled it down pretty good. It's all a little low now. like this area right here is a little low. I'm just going to heat that and cool right next to it. Hopefully that'll pull that out. But I've actually got this whole piece is a little high. I'm going to try to suck that in right there. Maybe I'll hammer and dolly it a little before I go on doing heat. Well, that's pretty good. Almost straight across here. Got highs and lows in there. A little low there. And this side's all good over here, so. Looks like that worked pretty good. I'll just sand this off now and hit it with a little more primer. Let's see what it looks like. Well, that looks pretty good. You see it here with a little gloss on it. Pretty straight. A lot straighter than it was. And the main thing, my straight edge. Main thing here is this edge is now real straight, and in the bottom you can see that it's straight along there. We've got just a little high all around that bump, so a little bit of bondo will fix that. It'll cover from here to there. And this section up here, I don't know if the camera's showing it, but there's a couple little dents in it. I still have this dent here, but the fender itself, or the trunk itself, see, we got a nice straight edge, 2 dimensions there. So even though this is quite a bit of work, then I still have to fix that. I'm not that disappointed in it, because now I can put some rust stop in my gun and spray it all up in here. This will give this a best chance of surviving. Yeah, it looks like I got a little bit of high spot right there, but this would be pretty easy to hammer out. This very outside edge right there is a little high, that's a little low. But the main thing that I was trying to get was this big bump here. Not perfect, but it's much better than it was. And anything else going on with it I can fix with some bondo. Well, there's another mostly completed cycle. I'd like to zoom on this camera, doesn't want to get very close, but there's the trunks all stripped. Bondo's off of it. Got a couple of my dents fixed. I'm gonna take it off. This is a pretty good gap here. Matching up pretty good down here. Of course, I don't like this. We'll see what happens to that. But I'll take it off and I'll put it over here in the front on a bench, and so I can weld It'll be much easier trying to weld down on it than trying to weld overhead. Now this don't look bad at all compared to what it was. Anyway, so looks like pretty much a done deal there on that.